Okay, so we've we had a little bit of a thing on the podcast where we were trying to go through a Wall Street Journal article, but I didn't have the full article. I've since been sent the entire text of the article, and beyond just me and Blue, we've actually got a guest star here. Blue's girlfriend, Elysia. Hello. Say hi.
Hi there. I'm Elysia.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's already gone off the rails.
It is. Also, if Alicia's microphone goes too high, it just cuts her voice, so we apologize.
So, but to be fair, it is actually something that is worth bringing on, like, somebody else to
Yeah,
get
especially someone who's not as much of a nerd as we are.
Well, but that's also the thing, is to get like a layman's opinion on it. So the title of the article, by the way, Elysia, if you didn't know, was "Digital Addictions Are Drowning Us in Dopamine."
You know what dopamine is, right?
Is that a happy hormone?
Yeah. It's the neurotransmitter that actually codes the brain to, like, when you feel happy, it's because your brain has released dopamine.
Happy juice. Yes.
Like serotonin?
Similar, yeah. It's a similar neurotransmitter, but it's not the same one. They do slightly different things. Dopamine is much more associated with happy. Serotonin is more just like satisfaction.
So the article's kind of saying, like, we're getting too much happy juice from being online, playing games, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's more about, like, hey, you're going. It's more like short-term thrills rather than like things that are solidly. Yeah.
So I'm sure you can judge me very strongly for the number of times where I've just been around your house, just sat on your Switch playing games.
For hours.
For hours, yes.
So Blue and I got through halfway of this article when on the podcast because I didn't have the full access, but now I have the full article. But for your sake, we're going to read through the entire thing.
Yeah. Or the Spark Notes, at least.
So I'm gonna read through it, and Elysia, if you have any points in this that you want to interrupt and say something on, interrupt me. But otherwise, I'm gonna keep reading until I get to the point where the Blue and I left off.
Cool.
All right. A patient of mine, a bright and thoughtful young man in his early 20s, came to me for a debilitating anxiety and depression. He had dropped... God damn it. Blue's pantomime. Alright.
Go on.
He had dropped out of college and was living with his parents. He was vaguely contemplating suicide. He was also playing video games most every day, late into the evening. 20 years ago, the first thing I would have done for a patient like this was prescribed antidepressants. Today, I recommended something altogether different, a dopamine fast. I suggested that he abstain from all screens, including video games, for 1 month. Over the course of my career as a psychiatrist, I have seen more and more patients who suffer from depression and anxiety, including otherwise healthy young people with loving families, elite education, and relative health.
One thing I would like to just say about that, which I meant to say before and I didn't end up doing so, was that the statement they make about, like, 10 years ago, I would have just prescribed antidepressants. I think that's such just, like, you hear about this shit and you're like, it's always just fucking terrible. I feel like a psychiatrist, who's, at least to my knowledge, meant to be about getting to the root of the primordial, like, fears that someone has, is just saying, take some drugs to make happy thoughts happen.
I
feel like that's a failure.
I have opinions about the same thing as well, but I see Elysia about to make a point.
The thing about plays a lot of video games, the thing that jumps out at me is that, like, I have friends that play video games, and one of them has noticeably felt worse the more she's gotten into them, playing lots of late nights.
Yeah.
Right, playing late at night. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Blue and I did talk about this a bit on the podcast. That it's like any other indulgence. Like there's diminishing returns on the amount of like good feelings you get from. Like sometimes it's a good distraction. Like you're like, oh, all this stress is going on. I need to do this. It pulls me away from that for a little bit. But if you overindulge, then it becomes, it's diminishing returns.
Without giving any details away, Han, are you able to tell us kind of what games that person was playing?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Oh, fuck, no wonder they wanted to... I can't say that.
Minecraft and lots of anime games.
Anime games? Really? Because anime games are single player. So what I was thinking, like, the reason that people aren't being angry about these things is because it's like multiplayer and people are being assholes online.
Yeah.
Minecraft is a funny one. If you're playing single player, then again, I don't think you really have a problem personally. If you're playing multiplayer is almost always an emotional roller coaster on Minecraft, and you wouldn't think so, but if someone fucks with your shit in Minecraft, and I know this for a fact, it can be deeply traumatizing.
All right, before we get back to the article, I actually have a fun Minecraft story.
Go on.
I got into Minecraft when it first came out because I was in college at the time, and we had somebody, Juan actually, he set up a server. Oh no, it was Juan first, and then he got lazy and he made Jesse the admin. One of our friends lit a forest on fire one time, and
in Minecraft,
and it burned like half the world.
Yeah.
And so we waited until he went away from his computer and then cased him in obsidian. Like, we built a cube around him that he literally could not get out of because he didn't have a diamond pickaxe.
No, you can.
Yeah, we did. Literally.
No, I mean, he could break out of that.
Not in OG Minecraft.
Could you not punch it with fists?
No, not in the original version. In the original version, you could... Yeah, we literally encased him in something that he could not get out of as a group. To be
fair, that's kind of his own fault, though, unless he...
Oh, no, he was being a dickhead.
Yeah.
But we let him out eventually.
Yeah. No, my God. Anyway, sorry, we got quite off topic there. Go on.
We did. Okay. So where did I leave off? Over the course of... Yeah, here it is. Over the course of my career as a psychiatrist, I have seen more and more patients who suffer from depression and anxiety, including otherwise healthy young people with loving families, elite educations, and relative wealth. The problem isn't trauma, social dislocation, or poverty. It's too much dopamine, a chemical produced in the brain that functions as a neurotransmitter associated with the feelings of pleasure and reward. When we do something we enjoy, like playing video games for my patient, the brain releases a little bit of dopamine, and we feel good. But one of the most important discoveries in the field of neuroscience in the past 75 years is that pleasure and pain are processed in the same parts of the brain, that the brain tries hard to keep them in balance. Whenever it tips in one direction, it will try hard to restore the balance, which neuroscientists call homeostasis, tipping it in the other direction. As soon as dopamine is released, the brain adapts... hold on. Gotta full screen this because I'm having trouble reading it because I'm a fucking old man.
Technical difficulties.
I really wish I could zoom in on this, but I can't.
So long story short, sweetie, I get too much dopamine when I'm around you, so I can't. Too much dopamine, you know how it is.
So what? You're severely
I'm
depressed afterwards?
when I'm around you, so it's killing me, sweetie.
It's dopamine, not Vicodin.
Are you breaking up with me?
Dear God.
It was you or the computer. I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ. Ironically, there actually isn't too much more to the article from what we read in the podcast, but let's keep going. Our brains evolved this fine-tuned balance over millions of years, in which pleasures were scarce and dangers were ever present. The problem today is that we no longer live in the world. Sorry, we no longer live in that world.
It's the part where you said dangers are ever present. I'm just like imagining someone sat at their desk, almost like an advert. Someone just sat at their desk gaming, and suddenly like a fucking chimpanzee appears behind them in the room, just starts wailing on them.
Did you show me an advert like that once?
Did I?
You probably
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sounds like Panda.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I leave off? The problem today is that we no longer live in that world. Instead, we now live in a world a world of overwhelming abundance. The quantity, variety, and potency of highly reinforcing drugs and behaviors that has never been greater. In addition to addictive substances like sugar and opioids, there is also a whole new class of electronic addictions that didn't exist until about 20 years ago. Texting, tweeting, surfing the web, online shopping, and gambling. These digital products are engineered to be addictive, using flashing lights, celebratory sounds, and likes to provide ever greater rewards just a click away.
Yeah, I mean that fucking da 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 da.
I mean,
it's like crack.
you're not wrong. Like going back, even Splitgate, even like FPS games that we've played, like you get a headshot and there's a satisfying like click noise when somebody goes down.
Yeah, the noise.
Yeah.
When you bullet collides. I thought you were gonna say the claim rewards button.
Yeah.
Like the word rewards is posted.
That too. I'm sorry.
3 places.
I'm glancing down now at Elysia channeling her inner Eminem.
Yes, so we're joined today by a cultist. She's even got like magical circles on the wall behind her with elephants.
God.
Would you like to say anything about that, or you just go?
It's from Ibiza.
It's from Ibiza, where all the warlocks come from.
No, it's where all the drug lords come from.
Well,
Wrong
same
aviators.
difference.
But yeah, no, I like. But I do feel the same way that like it's the whole idea behind loot boxes. Like you open them, they make a sound, big splash, and you get some sort of reward.
Yeah, imagine if a loot box was just you click, give me prize, and it just gives you a string of text in the middle of the screen saying you got this.
Yeah,
like
it would
no
be
one would
nearly
give
the
a shit.
same effect. Yeah. They're hitting those classic human addiction receptors.
Yeah, I mean, just look at The Sims. The DLC from The Sims. They know their audience, right? They know very well their audience. They're like, all right, it's a new DLC pack idea. We're in a boardroom, all right? Everyone's like, okay, we should put in green flower pots. Like, great idea. Garden gnomes, brilliant. Everyone fucking hates garden gnomes. Okay, we've got all this horrible stuff that no one gives a shit about. Put in a baby calf. Bam! Sell $50 to the nearest fucker that wants to buy it.
You basically just kind of explained cottage living.
Cottaging, there you go. In The Sims.
It has llamas.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I'm trying to make it because that's a game
comedic, but you're right.
we've all played.
No, but you're right. Like in a lot of video games, that's how they hook you. There's even in single player games, like there's level up noises, there's big spectacular things that happen when you achieve the next thing. You're like, oh, I've completed an objective.
Yeah, they're trying to engage all of your senses, or as many senses. Frankly, if they could make it taste good, that would fucking... Don't give me that face, sweetie. Stop licking the screen, Elysia.
Are we talking about the... Have you not played any of the Burger King games?
I know there's a Pepsi game.
Oh,
I can't
no.
remember the Burger
On
King
the
game.
Xbox 360, I own Sneak King, the Burger King game.
Oh, yes, the creepy motherfucker.
It's...
Hey, they're doing it. The KF console.
Hey, the fucking KFC romantic
I think you'll
game.
find it's called the KF Onsole. The KFC Onsole.
Where's the C gone?
No, the
You fucked it up.
the KFC Onsole.
The fucking KFC dating game.
Oh, there's that one too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Which,
that's
honestly,
another.
As bad as fucking games can be, considering this is in a realm of games from real life products, that all the games in that category are abysmally shit. KFC, their game actually stands out
It
as
actually.
being
The thing is, I've played it. It's
decent.
actually pretty good.
yeah. It's fucking weird because I've not even seen more than 10 minutes of the game, but it looks like a modern day romantic comedy anime game, and that is leagues above any of its competitors.
Yeah.
Depressingly.
It very well leans into the fact that it knows it's super cheesy and stupid.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
and it does it brilliant. I mean, like, imagine if fucking McDonald's or Subway came out with the latest FPS, right? No one would take that shit seriously. They have to lean into the comedy side of it.
But
I thought you were
that's-
gonna say the I forgot his name, but the McDonald's clown, like a dating simulator.
Ronald
with the
McDonald.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
He has
Like, that would...
No, he has a gay
What?
bromance with the Hamburglar.
It'd be a fucking, clown dating sim.
Oh
Like-
my god.
God, that'd just be so
Nice.
creepy. Anyway, we're so far off.
I mean, that's kind of the point of this. It's a reason we didn't do this on the podcast, and we're just kind of doing it after hours. All
That's
right.
true, isn't it?
Next
Stay
paragraph.
on.
Yet, despite increasing access to all of these feel-good drugs, we are more miserable than ever before. Rates of depression, anxiety, physical pain, and suicide are increasing all over the world, especially in rich nations. According to the World Happiness Report, why is that a thing? Why is there a World Happiness Report? Okay, according to
Why
the
not?
according to the World Happiness Report, which is apparently a thing, which ranks 156 countries by how happy their citizens perceive themselves to be.
How many countries are there in the world?
196?
No, there's 200 and something. Or at
I
least
thought
there,
I saw
there.
somewhere recently that there's 197 actually.
Yeah, it was back in the day. I had a giant map on my wall that had like all the flags of the world and everything, and I counted them. There were around 200 at that point.
Damn. Anyway, go on.
Which ranks 156 countries by how happy their citizens perceive themselves to be. Americans reported being less happy in 2018 than they were in 2008. Other wealthy countries saw similar decreases in reported happiness scores, including Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Japan, New Zealand, and Italy. Apparently the UK's fine then.
Yeah, that is kind of surprising. I would argue that the further back you go, the more content people are with less.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean,
And
to
so
be
I think
fair,
that's why everyone's just miserable these days.
so let me finish the paragraph and then I'll get to that. The global burden of disease study. Why does anyone pay the UN for anything? The digital The Global Burden of Disease study found the number of new cases of depression worldwide increased by 50% between 1990 and 2017. The highest increase in regions with the highest income, especially in North America.
So give me the TLDR of that.
TLDR is that apparently people in Western nations who are, like, they have the highest standard of living.
Yeah.
They are still fucking depressed, despite the fact that they've got a good amount, like, they've got a really good life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think your wealth really affects whether you're happy or not, generally.
There...
Yeah. Sorry,
Go on,
Elysia. No, Elysia.
There is a study that claims that people in higher paid jobs are generally less happy than those in lower paid jobs.
By that logic, I should be ecstatic all the time.
I mean,
I have to put up with you two miserable bastards, am I right?
to be fair, like, I'm thinking about, like, I don't know, like, all the people in my mom's side of the family, generally pretty happy people, but they're all poor and they live out in the Midwest and just they do, like, normal, simple kind of work, like
Living off the land.
not all of them, but yeah, like a couple of them are teachers, like one of them's in the military, like, but yeah. And I often think to myself, like, oh, God, like, I would actually like doing a job where you worked with my hands and didn't actually have to deal with any of the bullshit that I have to deal with on a normal daily basis.
Well, the guy in the military obviously doesn't right now.
Well, he's not in Afghanistan anymore.
Yep.
So, little bit of a dark point for a moment. My cousin was actually in Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't talked to him in a couple months, but I imagine he's not happy right now.
No, there's not many people who are about that.
No.
But you know that whenever you do something sweet, everyone who's listening can't hear it.
No, that's the point.
This is why we should never have let anyone on the podcast.
She's making hand signals.
So
but yeah.
crude.
But that's what I mean, is, like, I can sort of see that. Like, there's something satisfying with just doing something very simple with your hands, like building something, or even if you're not building something, doing... God damn it. Blue's making a very obscene gesture on camera right now, which none of you can see.
You said there's a lot you can do with your hands, right?
There's a lot you can do with your hands that will actually... it's just gonna sound worse now.
It's in your head now.
I was about to say there's a lot you can do with your hands that's satisfying, and... You just made it so much worse.
That's what she
I'm
says.
I'm sure that is the most satisfying part of most people's days.
Yeah.
But no, like
having a smoothie. You gotta shake the bottle up.
I hate you.
Guys, continue with your point.
I hate you so much. But no, I feel like that if you do something productive, like if you're doing something with your day that, like, creates something, like whether it's you're building something, whether it's you're raising a family, whether it's you're building a house, whether it's you're doing, like, fixing something, like it feels good when you do that sort of thing. And I feel like a lot of jobs now, they don't have that tangible benefit. And I think there's definitely merit in that point.
Yeah, because I remember when I was doing, like, basic shop work, you were like kind of jealous of. I just want to go out and do something that isn't sitting behind a desk, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
if you put it in the sense that, like, exercise releases endorphins. If you're doing manual labor every day and physically up and doing something, by that logic, you should be happier.
Right, because you're moving around, you feel like, and that is actually a true thing. Like people who work a desk job, there's a reason that they encourage them to go out and like go to a gym and work out and stuff like that, because it releases those endorphins that normally should be coming out if you're working like a normal person.
I've seen a lot of those kinds of jobs with perks that say, membership to the gym for the first year or something.
Yeah.
Fucking no one ever uses that shit because they are too busy.
my job allows that. And you're right,
yeah.
I don't either, because I just deal with my own workouts.
Ooh.
Those fucking weights right behind me.
Yeah.
Alright, next paragraph. It's hard to see cause and effect when we're chasing dopamine. It's only after we've taken a break from our... wow, that's a weird sentence. It's only after we've taken a break from our drug of choice that we're able to see the true impact of our consumption on our lives. That's why I asked my patients to give up video games for a month. Enough time to allow his brain to reset its dopamine balance. It wasn't easy, but he was motivated by the by the counter...
By the what?
What?
It wasn't easy, but he was motivated by the cunt. What?
Counterintuitive.
Oh, you stopped that halfway through.
It wasn't easy, but he was motivated by the counterintuitive idea that abstaining from the thing that made him feel good in the short term might actually make him feel better in the long term.
Yeah. I mean, stopping any habit is, I guess, it feels good for a bit.
Well, it does, and this is something I've done a few times. Like, so I've said it before, I'm Catholic. Every year Lent comes around, and for 40 days you're supposed to give something up. So like I've given up what is it? I've given up alcohol before. I've given up like Netflix. I've given up I've given up YouTube.
Giving up women.
Can't give that up. I've given up like last October I did Sober October, the fucking like thing where you don't drink and then you do like some kind of a workout routine to get yourself fit for like winter.
Yeah.
And it feels good. Like it's something that you enjoy, but you give it up for a piece of time, and I don't know, it feels good afterwards.
I feel like you shouldn't be, you should be giving up the thing that's causing you to do that thing, I think is the bigger issue. Do you know what I mean? We play video games when we're stressed. So don't
you give up stress? Like that doesn't really work.
No, but like find ways that you won't get as stressed. That way you don't need the medicine.
Maybe, but I think in my mind it's you're giving up an indulgence. You're giving up something that, because there are other ways to get around stress. Like
I know. Like obviously there's alcohol and then there's gaming, and you're like, well, alcohol's obviously a lot worse, so I'll give that up. So I'm good for having gaming, but then this article's like, no, gaming is what's killing you. Okay, well, I'm not going to go back to drinking alcohol because that sounds like a lot worse. I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, I don't, do all these other terrible things. I don't know.
Well, I think that... Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying that, like, if there's some underlying, like, thing that's actually causing you to go to some other thing to deal with or ameliorate, like, the issues that you have, the stress or whatever, then it's not a good idea to just eliminate one of the things you're doing to deal with that. So, like, say you're hyper stressed, and you deal with that stress by working out, playing video games, and drinking. And you cut off, like, okay, I'm going to be healthy this month, so I'll cut out drinking. And so the rest of the month you go like hardcore into working out and to playing video games. And that's just as bad. Am I sort of understanding where you're going with this?
Yes and no. Anyway, let's poop on.
Well, no, I think it's a good point. I'm just trying to understand it.
So, okay, as you are currently in your week right now, Kaiser. Okay?
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you did not have a computer in your life?
Reading, writing.
Do you think your life would be better if you did not have a computer in your life?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. 100%.
Because obviously you wouldn't know any of your online friends.
I wouldn't, but I feel like my mental health would be better.
Would it though? Because you would be sat at home alone reading books. I mean, maybe you'd go out and...
Maybe, but the thing is, like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I can walk down the street and just pick out, like, somebody random and just start talking to them.
But more likely you'd go to a bar.
Yeah, but then at that bar, I would, meet up and talk with some random people, and then I'd find someone random to, like, meet up and be friends with.
And you'd enjoy that. You'd enjoy going out and meeting new people.
I would.
And so you'd go to the bar more. And so you'd drink more.
Well, not necessarily. Well, like, when I'm... So... It depends. Like...
How often do you go to a bar and not order an alcoholic drink?
Never. But what I'm saying is, like... Alright, let me put it to you a different way. If you went to a bar and you didn't, like... Blue is flashing notes at the camera. If you went to a bar, like, right, and you weren't going there to talk to somebody, right, or you didn't, like, go there to have a conversation with somebody, would you drink more or less than if you went there to talk to somebody? Because I personally, when I go to a bar and I'm like hanging out with somebody or I'm talking to somebody, I drink less.
As someone who has gone out to bars in the past, on my own, when I'm drinking, I talk to people. But when I'm drinking, it's also not my normal self. That makes sense.
Interesting.
Does that answer the question? I feel like that didn't answer the question.
It doesn't answer the question, but it is just another, like, random factoid that...
Okay.
I feel like we're talking about very different things here.
Maybe. I got very lost from the original point.
Yeah. Let's keep going with the article.
Okay.
It's hard to see cause and effect when we're chasing dopamine. It's only after we've taken a break from our drug of choice that we're able to see the true impact of our consumption on our lives. That's why I asked my patients to give up... Oh, sorry, I already read this paragraph.
Yeah.
To his surprise, he did feel better than he had in years. With less anxiety, less depression, he was able to return to playing video games without negative effects by strictly limiting his playing time to no more than 2 days a week for 2 hours a day. Oh, what a fucking pussy. Sorry. That way he had enough time in between sessions for the brain's dopamine balance to be restored. He avoided video games that were too potent. Too potent?
Potent?
I'm sorry.
Don't tell me you fucking played phone games.
All right, hold on. I'm going to finish this paragraph and then we can talk. They were too potent. The ones that he couldn't stop playing once he started. Oh god, it was fucking MMOs, wasn't it? He designated one He designated one laptop for gaming and one for doing schoolwork to keep gaming and classwork physically separated.
Yeah,
Finally,
that is a good thing.
that is actually a good thing. I do the same thing with my home computer. Committed to playing only with friends, never with strangers. Oh, so he just doesn't want to meet people again. So that gaming strengthened his social connections. Human connection...
Whoa. Time out. How does that strengthen your social connections if you're cutting out society?
That's something that I was immediately like, that seems weird. Because, I mean, playing with strangers is how I met you.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. 99% of people out there, you're not going to get along.
Oh, no, most people on the internet are cunts.
But you can't say that you're strengthening your social, life by not talking to anyone new.
I've made a stronger social connection by telling the world to fuck off.
I made a strong social connection with Tom Nook today. We're fucking great friends now.
Tom Nook loves me.
I'm sure he does, because you pay him like the whore that he is.
Tom Nook...
Take my pittance, you
I
bastard!
I haven't paid him in a long time.
Tom Nook loves everyone who gives him bells.
God, that sounds so wrong.
Oh my god. But no, so part of that I agree with. Part of that makes sense. Like, I agree, limiting the time that you do in, like, some kind of an indulgence, right? Like, you don't play video games all day. You play for like 2 hours, and you go for a walk, do a workout, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
If you're limiting yourself, then it's something to look forward to as opposed to something you expect.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you get the same thing with food. Like,
yeah.
You don't just fucking chow down all day. It's like, I don't want to eat like 8 million burgers. But I'm sorry. Are we? Is there something going on between the two?
Elysia is just looking very sheepish when you said, "I wouldn't want to eat 1,200 burgers in a day."
I like food.
And to be fair, if I could, I'd eat a pound of bacon every day.
Well, to be fair, we like food until we're full, and then we do not like food.
But I think that's kind of my point.
Or not, apparently.
I think
there have been times.
I think that's my point, though, is that, like, every other indulgence, you limit yourself. You eat it, or you consume it, or you indulge in it to a point, and then you taper off. Like, that's the healthy...
point is when you feel guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you eat it or you consume it. How are you consuming this food, Kaiser? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like food's very different. Like, we don't need computers
But what
to
I
live.
mean, food is just one example. But you can use any sort of intoxicant. You can use any sort of pleasure.
Porn.
I was about to say pleasure, and I realized it was immediately going to be taken to be porn. But I mean, like, video games. Pornography is actually like something very similar to that. It's something that is an indulgence. It's something that is. It's hitting those dopamine receptors.
One of these wacky fucking thoughts I have. I really hope there's like a site out there called Prawnography, where it's just like they've put prawns in compromising positions.
Well, there was Cornhub.
There was Prawnhub, was there?
Cornhub.
Oh, Cornhub. Like the vegetable or the Chaos God kind?
No, like the vegetable. I've seen this website.
Okay. Anyway, can we finish this article?
Are you telling me you're not having fun with this? All right. Last paragraph.
Oh.
He avoided video games that were too potent, the ones that the ones that he couldn't stop playing once he started. He designated one laptop for gaming, one laptop for school. Sorry, I already read this. I guess
if you've got enough money to pay for a psychiatrist, you've got enough money for a second laptop.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. Or just, professional mode is Linux, and then switch over to Windows.
Yeah.
All right, last paragraph. Not everyone plays video games, but just about all of us have a digital drug of choice, and it probably involves using a smartphone. The equivalent of the a hypodermic needle for a wired generation. That was a weird sentence. Reducing phone use is notoriously difficult because at first it causes the brain's pleasure and pain balance to tilt to one side to the pain, making us feel restless and cranky. But if we can keep it up long enough, the benefits of a healthier dopamine balance are worth it. Our minds are less preoccupied with craving. We are more able to present in the moment. We're more able to be present in the moment, and life's little unexpected joys are rewarding again. And then finally, Dr. Lemke, whose name I still can't pronounce, is a psychiatrist and professor at Stanford University. I don't know.
So there are points that I agree with.
Yeah, she focuses on video games, but I think that it applies to a lot more than that. It applies to video games, social media, a bunch of other random things.
Yeah, the main ones that I'm imagining, yes, video games, TV,
yep,
mobile phones in general, whether it's the App Store, whether it's messages, whether it's social media.
Fucking Instagram and TikTok.
I really think phones are the worst. Because also, you don't generally sit in the dark in front of a bright computer screen.
No.
But in the middle of the night, people fucking have their phones in front of their faces. And I think that causes migraines when you try to sleep.
It really does. There's a point to that too. Your brain actually is designed to wake up when you see blue light.
Right.
So your phone generates blue light. So if you look at your phone screen in the middle of the night, it'll actually tell your brain that it's morning, and you'll start to wake up.
Oh.
Fun fact.
I mean, I have a blue light filter turned on my phone at all times.
What, to like eliminate the blue light?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's stuff like that. I
just sleep with sunglasses on.
I mostly just forget my phone in my living room.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm a serial phone user.
Yes, you are.
I actually don't even know where my phone is right now.
I got my work phone on my desk and my home phone on my bed, but... Yeah, when I go to bed, phone is in one or two places, and it depends mostly on whether I need to be awake in the morning.
Yeah, during the week, I have my phone in my bedroom because my alarm goes off on it. But aside from that, during the weekend, I typically just put my phone somewhere in my apartment and don't touch it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's because of stuff like this. It's because I've noticed that, like, it has a seriously negative effect on my mental health when I'm on my phone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think this kid,
this is a doctor. Oh, you're talking about the patient. Yeah.
I don't really think that you can at all blame it on computer games for him dropping out of school.
No, we talked about this during the podcast, and I agree with you. I think that, like, this kid had some other issues.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just because this person, like, They were in college, they dropped out, and then they moved back with their parents and just did nothing but play video games.
Yeah, in my opinion, and maybe this is a bit harsh, but if the parents were in control of the video games, they should have fucking chucked that computer out the window before he quit college. Go on.
Yeah.
So, I actually recently watched a video where somebody, I don't know who, took a look into an episode of The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And there's a specific episode. It's an episode where the character Penny gets into gaming very deep and very quickly.
Right,
and they take a look at what's happened to her in the prior episodes. And it seems to be that her life is taking a downward turn. So she has turned to gaming. And when she starts feeling that sense of accomplishment, she starts living vicariously through the games, and it's causing addiction. And it's not until she does something that she would never do in real life with someone that she thinks, oh, I need help.
Gives them
like she played any first-person shooter out there.
But it sounds like she's getting that, like, what is it? That disproportionate high. Like, if you're in real life and you were to get to the top of a company, right? Or if you were to, like, win some kind of a big sporting event, you would be like, I'm the winner. But in a video game, you can do that at a much more limited scale, and you get that same feeling, and then you walk out of that video game, you go back into real life, and you're like, oh, I don't have that. I don't have that same prestige.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what they're going for there, and that's true.
I don't know. I feel everything on the Big Bang Theory, and even this post sounds a bit like they blow things out of proportion.
I hate that series. I should just clarify.
Whether it's the characters or the script, like it just. I don't know.
I mean, yes, I will admit it's blown a bit out of proportion. This all happens in the space of about 20 minutes.
Oh,
but that's how long an episode is. So I get that they have to make it.
Yeah, they're trying to compress what happens into a digestible amount of time.
I mean, they could say though that jump cut. It's a week later. Penny's like put on a little bit of weight, and she's got like fucking Cheetos hanging out of her mouth. Like that's still funny. It's still short. And it's not just like computer games instantly make people Hitler.
That is
also... No, basically what happens to her is that obviously there's no obvious sign of weight gain, but she's filthy dirty. She's in like a big hoodie and like dirty clothes and it's hunched over in the dark on a computer screen.
Right.
Have either of you ever seen the old World of Warcraft South Park episode?
Yes. Great fucking episode.
It's great. But so for your benefit, Elysia, it's a very similar concept. Like they
have to kill wild birds.
All the kids in South Park, they all start playing World of Warcraft. They get obsessed with the new game, and over the course of like a month, they all get like morbidly obese and like riddled with like acne and stuff like that. And they do this to take out one troll. Like one troll killed them all, and they become obsessed with playing South Park to become like the hyper high level people, so they can take out this one troll.
There are particular details you are missing here.
I'm hitting the high points. I know there's more to it than that.
What were you gonna say, Elysia?
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything.
You're just judging me.
No, I was judging Kaiser for mixing up the name of the TV show and the name of the game.
Oh, what? What did I mix up?
He says you said they were playing South Park.
Oh, fuck. That Lysdexia kicking in.
So the show, there was like this one troll that had like cheating amazing powers and was just a total nerd, literally a fat nerd that you find out that they are. And so they're like, he's got control of like all the land. The only way we can get in under the radar is by killing level 1 wild boars for like 3 weeks straight without sleeping,
so that they can like build up their levels and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, like, every time he kills them, he doesn't like he essentially does the World of Warcraft equivalent of teabagging them. Like he kills them and then he just hops around, jumping on top of their body.
Yeah.
But then they cut to the guy's face, and he's just like some like really fat dude, like laying back in his chair, like.
Yeah, and his chair is like also a toilet. Like South Park, as stupid as they are, they do make some very funny, but also can be quite.
They do some very insightful parody.
Yeah, like obviously it's blown way out of proportion, but they did have a point that like people who play MMOs feel like they have a duty to themselves or their guild,
or the world in general.
Something done. Yeah. I mean, okay, we know for a fact, because me and Kaiser discussed this, that people are stupid enough to sit at their computer until dire things happen. I don't think we actually talked about it on podcast, did we?
Well, I think
because it was a bit of a morbid
I
subject.
do think we've probably brought this up on previous podcasts, because there was a woman who played on the Wii until her bladder exploded. There was a man in Korea who had a heart attack because he'd been playing for 48 hours. There was another man in China who was a League of Legends player who got arrested because he was actually like a criminal, and then he was a challenger player in League of Legends, and they announced that he was in the internet cafe, and there was a police officer in the cafe too, and he's like, "Oh, we've been looking for that guy."
Wait,
I mean,
why does it always happen in internet cafes?
I don't understand. Internet cafes aren't a thing in the US, at least not in the East Coast.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, like God, there are.
But go on. But point being, yes, we've discussed it.
But it's such a minute percentage of people.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are stupid enough to forget to eat playing a game? Like, I know you say that I'm bad, that I put off eating while I'm playing games, but I never get to a point where I am in any kind of pain.
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh.
No, a lot of my friends will not eat for hours and hours and hours, and it'll get to like 8 to 10 o'clock at night, and they'll realize they haven't eaten all day.
And they'll realize their beach body no, that's not cool.
God, I will never. That is something that cannot happen to me. Like if I get too hungry, like if I miss one meal, I get fucking angry. Like just like I need food.
Food.
Me need food.
Yeah.
Like I need at least breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If I miss one of those, my body gets angry.
He becomes Mr. T.
I pity the fool.
Roger.
Roger, what you doing? Your child is a nobleman of the sword.
Anyway, man, this. I feel like this whole we went into this means to talk about a subject, and I feel like we haven't talked about it at all.
No, we did, and then we went completely off into the weeds. All right, let's wrap it up though. Okay, so final thoughts. After reading the whole article, I think that this person does have a point. They focused heavily on video games, but I think it's digital media in general. I think that people who... anything that gives you that quick hit of like, oh, people are liking it. Oh, this is something good. It's like anything
Reminder
else.
to like our YouTube videos and follow us on...
Fuck off. No. Our videos are perfectly fine. They're dopamine safe.
But eat for fuck's sake, people. Pause the video.
Pause the video, eat a fucking meal, and then like the video. But seriously, I think that she has a point. But I think she focused too heavily on video games.
Yeah. So I guess that's our rundown. Any closing thoughts, Elysia? As our first star guest.
I think as more technology comes along, there's always going to be new addictions.
Yeah.
And then it's finding the right ways to work around those addictions. But people might be more depressed now. But then it's the question of, are people more depressed or more people coming forward about it?
That's always the balance, is like, are we getting better at measuring depression, or are we getting more depressed? Yeah. Well, on that very dark note, let's end this video here. This is the extended cut of the last segment of episode 57 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed.